Hi, my name is Ash Kumar and I'm here to do a henna crown for BBC Facebook Live with the lovely Jen. Jen is an alopecia patient and it's Alopecia Awareness Month. So to help raise awareness, that's what I'm here for, to do a beautiful henna crown on Jen. And please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Jen, I'm from the charity Alopecia UK. I have alopecia. And also today we're going to be watching out for your comments and any questions, so if you want to send them in, we're here and we're taking them.
Great stuff. So then you'll read them out to me.
Yes.
And we'll get back to you on any of your questions that you may have or comments you may have. Yeah. So I'm using just, like I said to you earlier off camera, this is 100% natural henna on your head. And what I would like to do is swivel you around a bit this way, please. Yeah. Thank you. And, oh gosh, you're going to have to keep staring at me, aren't you? You're going to have to just close your eyes if you get bored. I'm going to start on the top side first and then work my way around. And you've had it done before, you said? I have.
I've had one henna crown done just a month or so ago, actually. Okay. So it was a really interesting experience for me because I normally wear wigs. So.
But do you wear wigs every day?
Generally, yeah. Nowadays I go without them a bit more. But that week I didn't really wear my wig. It was a nice sunny hot week and yeah, getting a henna crown done was an interesting experience. Interesting.
How did you feel after? Or what was the...
I think, well, it's just weird because obviously I couldn't put my wig back on afterwards, and then I sort of nipped in the supermarket, and I think that was the first time I'd ever sort of been... I do a lot of things with the charity where I don't wear my wig and go out in public, but actually doing it on my own, that was kind of the first time. Just went in the supermarket.
And the henna crown was on you, so that was...
And it felt really good, actually. I just didn't feel as bare sort of thing. And then all of that week, just little things, like I went swimming, and then I just ended up not putting anything on my head, and I went for a run, and instead of wearing a little buff, I kind of just, I was getting too hot, and then I just thought, I'm just going to take it off because I've not been wearing it all week, and it just felt really nice to not have anything on my head. Yeah.
Just, oh wow.
But I didn't feel as bare because I had the henna, so it was really nice.
And was there any reactions from anyone, or did people stop you? Did people say anything? What was that like?
Yeah, I think people kind of looked, and you kind of, when I first kind of went to the supermarket, there was a guy that stopped me there and was chatting to me all about it. And then throughout the week, just people kept saying, oh, it looks really nice, it looks really good, and I don't know, and sometimes you feel like when you haven't got your hair on that people might look, but I kind of felt like even if they were looking and seeing that I had henna.
Oh, I see.
So,
so if they were looking, not saying anything, you know, they were either appreciating the design or wow, how did she do that?
and kind of not looking at me thinking, oh, you know, she's got no hair. It's kind of like taking the control back or whatever, or something like that. So, yeah.
Did you feel confident after? Did that help with confidence?
Yeah, it gave me more. Yeah, definitely more confidence. It was just a really nice feeling because I've had alopecia for a long time now.
How long have you had it for?
About 22 years.
Wow.
So I started with it when I was 11 years old, and yeah, so I've been a long journey with it, and you know, I'm in a place now where I'm much more comfortable with it and things. But I still, you know, typically I do like wearing wigs, but it was really nice to just have that time of not wearing a wig, and I think it's kind of moved me on a bit more in my.
Well, in your own
journey.
words, you said that you just felt free, you felt but you didn't feel bare.
Yeah, and so when I kind of leave here, I won't be putting my wig on, and it just feels nice to walk around with.
Okay, that just makes me so happy. You don't understand. I'm going to try not to get emotional on that, but the fact that you can say that, and you know, I'm going to walk out of here without a cap on.
Yeah, it's a nice
feeling.
I'm
going to turn you around this way so people can actually see what we're talking about.
Yep. So how long have you been doing?
I've been doing henna for almost 18 years now, and I really, really enjoy it. My henna crown journey actually began from a California charity called Henna Heals, and what they asked is, you know, Ash, would you be willing to help put a spotlight on henna crowns? And I said yes immediately, not knowing that there was a really wonderful documentary on YouTube, and I was watching that, and I was just so moved by how happy it makes people, and exactly what you just said about the confidence, you know, the fact that art can do that, not just on paper or on the hands, on the skin, but actually enhance that, you know, and empower people. Is just that's the only reason I do this. It's joy rising for me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Just checking, so we've got some comments. Sarah has said, good for you, Jen. I can't say that, Icarus. What is alopecia? So just to say, alopecia, typically, it actually just means hair loss, and there are a lot of different types of hair loss. The type that I have is often referred to as alopecia areata totalis, so it's thought to be an autoimmune condition. So my immune system, for whatever reason, is attacking my hair follicles and preventing the hair from growing. So the type that I have, there's alopecia areata, which is sort of patches of hair loss. The next stage of that is then alopecia areata totalis, which is the loss of all hair on the head. And then the next stage is alopecia areata universalis, which is the loss of all hair on the head, the body, eyelashes, eyebrows, and everything. And I've kind of varied between those over the years.
Wow.
So,
and that's over you said 22 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. So currently I don't have my eyebrows, and I've got half my eyelashes. I've got some very long false eyelashes on today. And yeah, no hair on my head. So
now you have henna.
And now I'm getting henna. So Nancy is saying, thank you for sharing this and helping increase awareness. Cheryl has said, God bless you, Ash. Therese, hi from Malta, you are very beautiful. Amanda, is this more common in men or women?
That's a good question.
It's kind of equal, really. So the type that I have kind of affects both genders equally, really, and can also affect people at any age, so children, adults. We've just, yeah, that's fine. We've just had an event at the weekend and had children there sort of as young as 3 or 4, and then, yeah, right up to sort of 60s, 70s, so.
So like, children,
yeah,
you know, that's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah.
That this is going to happen, and you know, how to prepare them. I mean, is there? That's
so as in if they start with it, that preparing them for if it kind of progresses. It's difficult, and I think depending on the age of the child and things like that, you know, some of the younger ones can kind of, well, actually, some of them, you know, they're looking to kind of the people around them for a reaction. Kind of, how should I react to this? How are you reacting to this? And but they can often all get upset, and it's all around kind of explaining it to them and giving them support. You know, a lot of the stuff we do at the charity, this last few years we started to do events, and they come along, and it's just kind of seeing lots of other people who are just like them, because otherwise you can often feel like you're sort of the only one, and especially if you're the only one at your school. Yeah. You know, that's your school, and that it's kind of your world, isn't it? And you know, if you're the only one, you kind of think, well, where's everybody else that's like me? So when we do events, they kind of come along, and it's just really nice for them to be around other children and other adults, and to try and normalise it in a way for them so that they can, you know, feel less alone and, you know, less different.
And you mentioned as well earlier that there was an event that happened just the weekend gone, correct? What was that?
So at Alopecia UK, we do something that we call our big weekend. So this year was our 4th one, and we tend to move it around the UK. And so we've done London, Manchester, Glasgow, and then this weekend was Birmingham. And it just kind of got social events. There's kind of a conference with various different talks. This year we also added a floor of activities for children and young people. And yeah, just it's all about information sharing, support, having fun. And this year was definitely our biggest one yet. I think there's about 230 attendees, I think, and 300 people involved in the thing overall. So it was
very large.
A big, busy event, which I'm still recovering from.
So and when you're doing that as well, so is there, like, how do we find out more about it? I mean, we've got...
So people can find out more about alopecia generally and different things that we do at our website, which is alopecia.org.uk. And there's lots of different things on there. Signing up to our mailing list, and then they get notifications about events.
Right, that's the first thing I'm doing as soon as we finish live.
Good. Check if we've got some more messages. Let's see. So Penny, I had alopecia areata, lost lots of hair in roundish patches. Fortunately, mine grew back after some time. I believe it was caused by illness and extreme stress at the time. Looking beautiful, Jen. Thank you very much.
You really are.
Gabby, how do you take care of your skin? So is that might be, how do you take care of your skin with the henna on, perhaps?
Let's answer both. If there's anything that you do for the top of your head, like, is it any kind of...
I don't really do anything for...
Just your normal moisturising and...
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, actually, now that that's come up. I don't do anything on mine.
Right. Well, if it's a question related to henna, just don't wash the henna off. Our henna you keep on for about 3-4 hours. Crack it off when it's dry, and then the colour gets a kind of a fluorescent orange today, and over the next 48 hours it will develop into a beautiful kind of burgundy red kind of colour. And you will have the henna stain on your skin for approximately 10 to 14 days. So you've got 10 to 14 days of partying, girl.
Yep. And do next weekend. So then we've got Karen. I had alopecia, the patches not all over baldness, but I'm also allergic to henna with a sad face.
Oh, I think she may be referring to some of the bad stuff that's out there.
So what is the bad stuff?
So there is this connotation is like black henna. It's the term black henna. Now there is no such thing as black henna, unfortunately.
Right.
It's just hair dye put into a henna cone, and people use it for the dark colour, and I would strongly recommend never use black henna, always use natural henna. So what is natural henna? Natural henna is from a henna plant. A henna plant is about 2 foot high. Right. It's green. The leaves are crushed into a powder. I'm going to turn you the other way around and move you around this way. Okay. That's okay. And the powder, the leaves are crushed, and the powder is mixed with water and a couple of drops of eucalyptus oil. That's it. Right. And you can probably smell it. Yeah. Feels quite cool on the skin as well. It's quite nice. And that's what henna does. Henna is actually a natural coolant for the body. So I would strongly recommend to use natural henna. And how to recognise it, the paste will, the smell of the actual paste would be a Vic-like or eucalyptus-like smell. Right. And that's natural henna, and the paste colour itself would be a brown. But yeah, please, people out there, stay away from so-called black henna. Right. So I'm just having another look now. Josh, I've had alopecia universalis for 10 years now, and it affects my eyes the most without having eyelashes. Yes. Wow. Not having eyelashes can be very difficult. I think a lot of people, actually, with alopecia, one of the things that they would like back the most, for those that have universalis, one of the things they like back the most is eyebrows and eyelashes. I think a lot of us, yeah, a lot of us, why?
You just don't realise what a difference they make to your face. And also the practical use of eyelashes, keeping things out of your eyes.
So I know you know, so maybe if you could share with us the kind of things that people take for granted or don't realise the practical.
Yeah, so I
That'd be
think
interesting.
the hairs, so for eyebrows, a lot of people say when they then do sports, sweat like kind of then goes into the eyes because the eyebrows aren't keeping it out. Eyelashes, obviously they keep all the bits and pieces out of our eyes. Nose hairs, when people lose that, they can get kind of quite a runny nose that just kind of like a dripping nose. My colleague has a very funny story about that involving a supermarket.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll love me for sharing that.
But don't say her name. Tell us, but don't say her name.
I think she tells the story of the time she was in the supermarket and she had her arms full because she didn't pick up a basket. And then she had alopecia universalis at the time, and yeah, her nose just started running and she couldn't really do anything about it. But I think that's a common story for a lot of people with universalis. So
Wow.
but yeah, so there's lots of comments now. I'm getting behind on them, sorry. So Lorraine, my husband has alopecia universalis. He was very brave when he had to shave his head. He used to have beautiful eyelashes too. Difficult for women, more so than men, but still hard to deal with, especially people's reactions. And I'm going to pick up on that one actually because I actually disagree with that. A lot of people often say it's more difficult for women than men, and I would always say it's difficult equally for both men and women.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
because,
yes, it's hair loss at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, I think it has different challenges for each in different ways. You know, and I think the more that we kind of say, oh yeah, it's more difficult for women, I think it makes it harder for men to reach out for support as well because they feel like they've got to just get on with it.
But that's actually a point there because with all politeness, but you can wear false lashes. If I lost mine, I don't know if I'd be...
Yeah, see.
I, as a man, wouldn't be comfortable wearing false lashes,
Yeah.
personally, if that had happened. So that's a factor as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, exactly.
that option's not available for them. Perhaps.
Exactly.
And move around this way, sweetheart.
Yeah, you move me better. But yeah, no, I think this is the thing, really. So, watching from Nigeria with love and support for all living with alopecia. A little girl aged 10 to 15 could be devastated by this condition. I am so glad to see this today. Good.
I'm getting a bit emotional. I'm really happy that we're doing this.
Me too. So Sue, if you had the choice, would you want to have hair? You are exquisitely beautiful as is, and this henna treatment is a stunningly beautiful expression of individual creativity. I'm looking forward to seeing this henna. If I had the choice, would I want to have hair? I think I would like to, for me, I feel like my body perhaps is not working as it should, so I'd like to have hair to know that my body's doing what it should, but I'm kind of at a place in life now where I know that I can be happy whether I've got hair or not, and I feel happy that I'm in that place. So if my hair came back, I'd be fine with that. If it didn't, I'd be fine with that too. So that's the answer from me for that question. Peter, I was bullied due to it at school. Can be a big problem with regards to bullying at school.
That's awful.
I know. Denise, what an artist. So that one's
Thank you.
done. Philippa, lovely looking young woman and exquisite henna artistry. Fabulous. I'm not very good at taking compliments, so I'm not letting Lily, you are awesome, Jen. Thank you. Emmanuel, I admire you. The courage you have is incredible. Thank you.
Well, I haven't said, and we both haven't said it. Jen doesn't get to see this until I've completely finished.
Yeah.
So actually, Jen has no idea what
No,
it's
yeah.
looking like at the moment.
I'm excited to see the end. Trish, insurance companies should help cover wigs for the women affected. Interesting.
Mm.
There is a lot of struggle out there actually for wigs for women because often you do get a bit of help from the NHS, but a lot of them are different now in all the different areas, and some areas are starting to not give any help at all.
So I'm not understanding that part. What do you mean by that?
So wigs, the NHS will often, if you've got alopecia, you can often get a bit of help with wigs because they can be quite expensive. So if you can get help with the NHS, but there's just a lady there saying we should get help, and some people do through the NHS, but it's a bit hit and miss really. And that's difficulties with.
So her suggestion is for insurance companies to.
Yeah.
Is that what she's saying?
I think so, yeah. But I'm not sure where in the world that person is from. Next question. Just wanted to ask, when did you learn that you had alopecia? Would love an answer dearly. I learned that I had alopecia when I was 11. I need to not look up if I'm not to see it, don't I?
You what, sorry?
I need to not look up if I'm not to see it.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I won't look.
You have a screen in front of you.
Yes.
Don't look.
I won't look. Yes, I was 11 when I learned I had alopecia. A message from Alopecia UK. Can't wait to see the finished design. Hi, Amy. Carol Ann, thank you for that. I developed roundish bald patches about 1 year ago and couldn't find much help other than applying cortisone. Fortunately, it just started to grow back. What's the name of your homepage again? Our homepage is alopecia.org.uk. So you can find out a lot more information about Alopecia UK there. My little boy has alopecia areata. This is from Melanie. Thank you for raising awareness. It's very difficult for children to deal with. It is. But they can be very happy too. Inez, don't you feel itchy to scratch your head?
I hope not now.
No, it feels nice and cooling actually on my scalp. It feels really nice. Jim, when doing henna over a large space of skin, do you adjust the pattern in any way, loosen it up to seem less busy, etc.?
Yes. So if it is for me personally, if it's a smaller area, I would obviously go quite intricate if needed. So, and the answer to your question is, in a large area, the same design I would expand it so that it would be a lot larger.
Right.
The same design this big would be now this big.
Yeah.
So there's no headache on how much can I fit in. I still have the same format of the design, but on a larger scale because it's a larger surface.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people asking again what alopecia is, so I'm just going to repeat it. I did mention earlier, but just for those who are just tuning in. So alopecia simply means hair loss, and there are lots of different types of hair loss. The type that I have is called alopecia areata totalis, which is thought to be an autoimmune condition. So my immune system is attacking my hair follicles and preventing the hair from growing. But there are lots of different types of alopecia: androgenetic alopecia, frontal fibrosing alopecia, lots and lots of different ones.
Would there be any kind of advice that you would give for anyone that's perhaps worried they may have it? What would be the first thing that you would suggest they do if they feel?
If they think they've got it, the first thing I'd say is to just go to see your GP and get it checked to hopefully get a diagnosis. Because there are so many different types, you want to know what type of hair loss it is that you're dealing with, because some types might have different treatment options. And while, for alopecia there's no treatment that's going to provide a cure or anything like that, there are lots of different treatments. Some that can work for some people and not for others, but none of them are necessarily a cure. But for the different types of hair loss, there are some that might work for some types of hair loss and others. So it is important to kind of go and get checked out and get a diagnosis. And,
what are the symptoms? What are the signs that people can
a lot of people
for?
will kind of notice a lot of my hair shedding, but with alopecia areata, it's typically finding a small ball patch. For me, I found 2 small ball patches that were about the size of like a 10-pence piece on each side of my head.
That's quite small.
Yeah, so you just suddenly, all of a sudden, you'll feel a smooth patch of skin, and then for alopecia areata anyway, I'm trying not to look at your legs, I'm trying not to
I
see
see
myself.
behind me the screen, okay. Sure. Great, if you stay in that position for me for just a bit, and then connect the front of the head.
Barbara, is it expensive?
What?
I'm assuming henna. Is henna expensive?
Not really, not at all. You can buy a henna tube online for a couple of pounds. Good quality henna obviously would cost maybe £2.50 max.
Yeah. So can people do henna themselves?
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks hard, but it's a bit like handwriting. So once you kind of get used to the tool, the creation's the challenge. I think creating new designs, that's when people, but anyone can do henna. I mean, I think it's such a great relaxing tool.
Yeah.
Instead of doodling on paper with pen, get some henna out and,
Enjoy
in the winter
myself.
doodle on your feet and then put socks on, no one's going to see it. It's good fun. It's so much fun.
Another question. Are you bothered when people ask, what's wrong, why don't you have hair?
Do you get that?
Well, to be honest, because I wear wigs a lot of the time, I don't get that a lot. I think one of the biggest, but because I speak with a lot of people who do have alopecia, I know that for those that go without, people will often make assumptions and think that it's something else rather than.
But have people just outright asked you that? Just, why do you not have hair? Has that happened?
I don't know if anyone has really. Well, the times when I've not had it on, I might sometimes have got people that have stared for a bit too long, and sometimes you'd rather just ask than just stare. But I don't know if anyone's. Somehow I've managed to dodge that question.
Right. No, so, yeah, I mean, I think that would be absolutely impolite to do so, but
I think people do get it a lot though. That people will comment and say inappropriate things sometimes, which can be frustrating. So, what are the diagnostic and therapeutic approaches you have tried during your experience with alopecia? Your spiritual maturity in relation to acceptance of it demonstrates your true healing. Congratulations. Thank you. Diagnostic and therapeutic approaches have you tried during your experience with alopecia? So I think when I was younger, we tried the sort of steroid stuff or the minoxidil stuff. I was never that keen on those type of approaches though. So even when I was young, I kind of I was quite reluctant, I think, with those. But then I've tried all kinds over the years, as a lot of people with alopecia do, and try and sort of change diet and supplements and lots of different alternative therapies. And I think a lot of that comes down to when you kind of go to doctors and you don't get the answers that you're after, you kind of want to just go and try anything and everything. And I've spent probably thousands of pounds over the years on lots of different things. Yeah. But there's various different treatment options, injections into there and things like that, and I've not tried those.
would you?
No, I wouldn't. Not for me.
Not for you?
No.
Fair enough.
So, and I think the reason being just because I know so many people who've had them and then as soon as they stop, they lose their hair again. So it just seems like a lot to go through to then lose their hair again, although that's not the case for everybody, so I can't kind of say that the answer is fix all. So Hannah, amazing awareness, gorgeous. To read these ones out, giving great info to the masses. Keep up the great work. Stunning henna. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the henna. If you know, where is the research and treatment on alopecia up to these days?
What do you mean? I don't know if I understood that
So
question.
the research and treatment, so a lot of people will often say there's no research happening into alopecia and things
okay,
like that.
I understand.
There is various research out there happening, various bits and pieces that are happening in the UK. There's some stuff that a lot of people are quite excited about on something called JAK inhibitors. They've kind of honed down the function of what's happening, I think, and there was sort of a discovery where a treatment that worked for one thing actually then worked on alopecia. So that's all in clinical trials at the moment.
Right.
And then in the UK, there's various bits and pieces happening. We're actually merging with another charity, which is a research charity, so we're all merging so that we can hopefully get a lot more research going in the UK, which is really exciting. Treatments on alopecia, where they're up to these days, I think, to be honest, a lot of them are still the same as what they've been for a long time. Sort of the steroid creams, something called DCP, which is where they paint something on your head to create like a reaction type thing. And there's various different ones, and I think they're all quite similar to what's probably was on offer when I was a teenager.
Oh, really? So not much advancements there then, really?
I don't think so. I don't feel like I should maybe be that. No, I'm trying to think. No, not really. But I think that we won't be far off different treatments actually. Within probably the next 5 to 10 years, I think there's just a lot of various stuff in clinical trials. Still not a cure, but probably another treatment option. What was your reaction to when you learned that you had this disease? I got really upset. So I was 11 years old. I was in my bedroom. It was a Saturday night. I was playing with my hair and putting it in plaits, and then all of a sudden I found these smooth bits of skin, and I think I just remember crying. I think at that point I didn't know a lot. I'd never heard of alopecia, and I associated hair loss with being really ill. So I thought I was going to be really ill, and yeah, I got really upset. So that was my reaction.
So when did you learn more about it then?
So we didn't know what it was until the Monday we went to the doctors, and he said it was alopecia areata, and because it was at that point it was 2 little patches, and I was quite freaked out. I guess I thought they would fill in and that would be that, but then obviously it didn't work out like that, and eventually they got bigger, and that was the hardest time for me, I think, when I was sort of 11, 12, 13, 14.
And that, do you remember when it actually sunk in that this is?
I think for a long time it was, because I remember writing something where I was kind of like, oh, this is, I might have this to like year 9 type thing, and then I did still have it in year 9, but my hair did eventually grow back by the time I was 16. And I think that I then sort of wasted my teenage years because I was waiting for it to come back, and I don't think I lived life as I should have as a teenager, and
right.
Sometimes I look back and sort of feel like I missed out in some ways because I was just waiting for my hair to grow back, really. And it did grow back, and then I had a great time, and then I lost it again, and then I thought, well, if this is how my life's going to be, I'm just going to go and live life how I want to do it, because whether I've got hair or not. Yeah, I've lost track of where I was on there now. Somebody's saying, very beautiful, how long will this stay on the head?
It will stay on for about a week to 14 days.
Can I ask what ethnic origins or cultural reference influenced your design? It looks great so far.
Oh, thank you. To be honest, it's just a design. I do have kind of an Arabic flower in here, and these are like my signatures that I use. I don't really have a cultural. I mean, it's quite intricate, so I would probably say maybe leaning towards kind of an Indian design, maybe.
Does Ash work with people with chemo-related baldness also?
Yes. Yes, I do. And the henna paste would be mixed, instead of the eucalyptus, like I was saying earlier,
yeah.
It would be used mixed with lavender, low-grade lavender oil, just keeping in mind that obviously someone having chemo would, the eucalyptus would be too warm for them. So I would be using that.
I see. Amy is asking, Ash, how do you stop yourself smudging any areas already done? Skills.
I actually use my little finger to extend as far as I can, to be honest, and a lot of exercise doing this. I'm sure any makeup artist or henna artist would tell the same. Then our fingers are actually our ruler extensions, and so for example, if I'm going to do an eyebrow, then I would probably use your nose to do that. I sometimes, if I'm going to do the lip, I would do the lip. So that's a really good tool. I hope that helps.
Little finger, yeah. Lynn says, I admire the artist.
Thank you.
Someone saying, such an effective awareness. This is the very first time I came to be aware of alopecia. Thanks for doing this. Great idea. Edith is saying, is the henna permanent?
No, henna is not permanent. It's temporary, and it will come off in about 14 days or so.
I think I quite like that about the henna as well, because then like some people get tattoos and things, don't they? And a lot of women who I know now with alopecia are starting to get tattoos, but when you get henna, then it means you can change it and you can do things different.
Oh, definitely. It's what henna is.
Not committed.
It's everything opposite to a real tattoo. It's painless, temporary, comes off in 14 days.
Yeah. Inez, how long will this take to complete?
We are probably approaching in the next 15 minutes.
Wow. Melanie, I just showed my son this and he watched for a while. He's 7, and as you mentioned earlier, he has alopecia. He said, whoa, that's so cool. People look better without hair anyway. That's nice. Penny. My doctor was pretty unsympathetic when I went, bluntly said, it's alopecia. It might grow back, it might not. You may go permanently bald, you might not. I insisted on seeing a specialist who sat me down, told me all about the different kinds of alopecia and gave me hope. I said previously mine grew back. So that's often one of the struggles actually for people with alopecia. It can be quite hit and miss as to what health professional you get to see, and some of them are fantastic and some of them really don't help coping with the alopecia by not being very sympathetic. I think, yeah, for a lot of people with alopecia, I think you can often feel like there's an attitude out there of kind of, well, it's just hair, it's not important, you don't need it. And it's just so much more than hair and so much wrapped up within the sense of self and identity and things.
And pride.
Yeah.
Would you not say that too? Does it not, like...
Well, yeah, I think just all of those things really, that it is a big part of the self, and then, so, you know, to lose it, you can just feel devastated really, and when you do go to see a doctor and they just kind of have the attitude of, oh, well, it's just your hair, it doesn't matter, it's kind of quite confusing for the person, and they don't know where to turn next really. So, yes, Penny, I understand that one. Yeah. Nicola, I'm never bothered by people asking where my hair went. I'm bothered by people I don't know asking how chemo is going. It's wrong to assume. And that is one of the difficulties, I think, for those with alopecia, is there isn't as much awareness around alopecia, but it's because it visually looks similar to somebody who might be having chemotherapy, and people are a lot more aware of that type of hair loss. People often do assume that those with alopecia are going through chemo, and I think that that's quite a difficult thing for people who have alopecia and have had it, you know, this is just them and this is them probably for their life, to have that assumption like all the time. You know,
I have to be honest, actually, I wasn't fully there with that, but I know that, I knew what alopecia was, but I didn't know there was different types.
Yeah.
And of course I knew with chemo you lose hair, but I did not know the totalis, is that what it is? That you can with, I did not know that
right.
until a few years ago when I was starting to do the henna crowns, and I understood that of course there is complete hair loss, which is including the lashes go, and exactly what you were saying, and I thought, yeah, you're probably right, maybe that's something to focus on. Yeah, that hair loss is not just to do with chemo.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And ideally for me, you know, the general public, society at large, they might see somebody who's got no hair and think, oh, I wonder if they've got alopecia, or I wonder if they're going through chemotherapy, not just assume one thing, because, you know, it's like parents who I know have been telling me they're out shopping with the kids and they're trying to say to the kids, no, you're not having that, and then somebody's walked up and bought it for the child. It's like, oh, because they've assumed that they're...
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's kind of like, there's lots of different instances where people assume things, and it's kind of like, you know, for those that have got alopecia and just want to go without anything on their head, you just don't really want to have that assumption really, and it's, yeah, just because visually they look similar but two totally different things. So
I'm putting glitter in your crown now. This will wash off with water.
Okay.
This is just for today and pictures.
Okay.
This is just glittery body glue.
Well, this is somebody who said the artist is really good at what he does, looks stunning.
Thank you very much. I do have a beautiful lady I'm working on as well, so that helps.
Thank you. Elizabeth, do you have fun wearing different wigs for different situations, or do you have one that you routinely go to? I kind of want to have one that I routinely go to, but that's just because I'm quite lazy. If I had the money to have a lot of different wigs, I think I would wear different ones all of the time. But it can be quite expensive. So, but yes, I do wear a lot more different wigs now. And whereas previously I always wanted to just have the same all the time so nobody would notice, now I'm quite happy to be blonde one day and dark the next.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you, Jen, to try your best not to look at the camera. Not that you have,
Okay.
but just extra careful because this is all the fancy stuff going on now. I really want to thank, actually, I'm sure, Jen and I, but the BBC team for really reaching out and helping, you know, bring awareness to this. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you very much for having us. Shall I read out some more?
Yeah, we have time.
Denise, I think you will be amazed, Jennifer, what this wonderful artist has done. Maybe a little emotional, maybe. Kirsty, how do you deal with the staring? My friend has this condition and it breaks my heart to see her so sad. She won't let me take photos of her and understand how absolutely beautiful she is. I think nowadays I just take no notice, really, of the staring. But the photographs thing is an interesting one. I would never have photographs taken of me. It was only about 18 years in that I went and got a photo shoot done, and it changed a lot of things for me.
So, sorry, when you say for photo shoot, so what did you do?
Well, I sort of treated myself for my 28th birthday, and I decided I wanted to get some pictures of me without hair. And then the following few months later, I took part in a project called the Alopecia Project by a photographer called Daniel Regan, and it just changed a lot for me, because then this self that I'd previously hidden away for about 18 years, he kind of brought it out into the open, and it was part of an exhibition, and there was a few of us that took part, and it really just brought alopecia out there a lot more.
And did it help your confidence again?
Yeah, it did, because I used it as I put it on Facebook and kind of told everybody.
Oh, so till then not a lot of people knew?
Well, people did, and then I got to a point where, because I could hide it that well, I'd stopped telling people, and so there was people at that point that I worked with and things, and they didn't know, and so I was terrified about putting this picture of myself on the internet. I remember when I was putting it on Facebook and my hands were shaking and everything, and I just clicked send, and then I went away and left it, and then a few hours later looked at it, and there was just loads of positive comments. So I can understand this person saying their friend won't have photographs taken, and I was the same for a long time. But then when I did have a photograph taken, it just changed so much for me. You have like a good photographer that does a nice photo, and you just see yourself differently. It's different looking at a photograph than it is looking in a mirror, I think.
Of course it is, absolutely. So blue was your colour, but do you have another favourite colour in there you like? You can pick out. Got a fuchsia pink. There's...
Either whatever you think. I don't mind.
I want to use the colour you like.
I like the pinks and the purples. I like that.
Lilac?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are you excited?
I am very excited. So Nicola has said, which is very good, thank you Nicola, join the Alopecia UK group on Facebook. They may help, and they will definitely show you that you are not alone. I have no hair anywhere except a small amount on the left side of my top lip that absolutely refuses to go. Yes, that's always very annoying, Nicola, when it stays in the places that we're not that fussed about it being. But yes, the Alopecia UK group on Facebook is a massive source of support for people. One of the things that we facilitate at Alopecia UK, which is just to say again, I'm one of the managers at a charity called Alopecia UK. So
I'm going to swivel you round this way and just check. No, you carry on.
no, direct. Oh wow, the Alopecia UK blue glitter looks stunning. I'm excited to see
You did say
this.
that. You did say that before we started live.
Yeah.
Just going to check.
I'm so excited to see.
Okay, so are you ready to take a look and give you a mirror? So I'm going to point you in that direction.
Okay.
And give you a mirror to take a look. Okay, 1 second. I'll do it this way. When you're ready, you can...
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Wow, that's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Very welcome. Take a look around this way.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
Need to be careful not to smudge it.
Yes, won't be. Big hug.
Thank you.
Yeah, no smudging. No smudging yet. No smudging. We'll turn you out towards the camera.
Yes.
And say bye. And once again, thank you for watching. Jen, thank you so much for being here, for helping raise awareness for Alopecia Awareness Month. Ash Kumar and Jen saying bye. Thank you.
Thank you.